Good evening, everyone. My name is Kendall Myers, also known as Mr. Overcomer. I am an empowerment speaker, growth development coach, CEO of It's Time to Step Up LLC. I work with people struggling with self-doubt and grieving loved ones, strengthening their key core values, turning their personal pain into elevating power, while unleashing their full potential and true greatness to life. I have a question. How does a house first get built? You start with the foundation. It's the base. It's the most important piece of a house. If you didn't have a base, the house would fall. It wouldn't even be able to stand up. So, and every foundation is a start to something. You got to learn how to foundation your life with values and beliefs. Because think of your temple as a house. You got to start with something. When you have a characteristic, when you have a trait, everything matters. This what leads you to being who you are later on in the future. I want to share a story with you about my life. At the age of 11, I struggled to read 3-letter words. Cat, hat, sat, none of that. I really couldn't read it. And that's why kids was running around playing policeman, fireman, and robbing. I just was so lost and wanted to understand life and what it meant to me. I remember just being such a big crybaby because every time my parents left, I felt lost, confused. They was the only people that knew me and understood me, that I even felt comfortable being around. And my mom knew it had to be changed. It had to be a change. She told me, Kendall, you are intelligent, but you just have to learn how to read, and I'm going to give you that help. So she went and got me a tutor for a program called Why to Read under the YMCA. And I met my tutor, Cindy, for the first time. We started meeting at the library once a week, and she started helping me sound out words and put them into sentences. When I say it was a struggle, I just want to rip my hair off, man. For real. But she kept rooting me on. She said, Kendall, just keep practicing. It's going to get smoother. It's going to get better. And it started getting smoother. And right when it did, the end of the year came up. And that's when I got sad. She was supposed to only tutor me for 1 year. It was a part of the contract. But I remember her going to my mom and saying, Yvonne, I'm not going to give up on Kendall. I'm going to see if I can give him 1 more year of tutoring. I believe in him. I see him getting better and better and improving. And luckily, they was able to let her do 1 more year with me. If I felt fantastic. So we start off where we left off at. And I did. It started getting smoother. It started getting better. I started putting words into sentences. Started sounding them out. Started even writing paragraphs and reading a different book once a week in the library, just getting better and better. At the end of the year, all of the kids that was in the program, they put on a big banquet for her. And at each table, a kid picked a book to read for their table. And I picked a poetry book called Light in the Attic. And it became my turn. And as I got up, I was shaking really bad, nervous, sweat dripping. And I kept reading. I wanted to stop, but some told me, no, keep going, Kendall. You've been practicing. You got this. You got it. Sometimes you got to give yourself that pep talk, even when you don't feel like it. So as I kept going, I finished. It was my first time reading in front of people. And the best of all, when I was done, everybody stood up and gave me a round of applause. It was amazing. From that point on, my mom did an interview for the newspaper article about the success of the program and the success it had on me. I went from being lost and confused to vice president of my senior class. I went from being scared and just a big crybaby every time my parents left to vice president of the National Honor Society. I went from being just so confused with life and did not understand how to comprehend to graduating with a 3.4 and been accepted to 13 different colleges and universities. This did not happen overnight. I had to work for that. But it started with my mother. That was the foundation. She noticed that my house was shaky and I needed more foundation. So she applied for a tutor program that helped me succeed in life. So you gotta step up in your kid's life. And for the kid, you have to know how to sometimes ask for help. Even when it seems like you can't get it. Even when it seems like you're afraid. One thing I learned, closed mouths do never get fed. So don't allow yourself to struggle with something that can be fixed. It's a lot of people that's willing to help you, but you got to speak up. You got to let people know. And I was lucky to have a mother like I did that knew my foundation needed structure. So I'm coming to you to talk to you about where the foundation starts at. Number one, it starts with the parent. Your kid is important to you. You want to make sure he or she is on the right track. Some schools just allow your kids to just go there and they show them things, but a lot of kids are slower learners, so the rest of the class just leave them, and you never know. So it's up to the parent to be more intentional, to really be in a child's life. Not just when he at home. Go to the parent-teacher conferences. Go to the first meeting, the orientations. Go to his sport event. Talk to his teachers. Call them. Talk to the guidance counselor. These are necessary. Your kids need you in their life. Number two, for the kid, when you on this roller coaster of life, you got to take heed to it. And what I mean by that, learn everything you can. Learn how to ask questions. Learn how to be yourself. Learn how to go in the right directions. Learn what makes you feel comfortable and best. Just because you are young, don't ever feel like your words and your concerns doesn't matter, because it do. So don't just live life being quiet. Let your parents, let a guardian know what you need. Let them know what do you need directly. You gotta open up. You gotta learn how to be authentic. And you can be that authentic person at a young age, because God created you to be magnificent, to be abnormal, to be different. So whatever different traits that you have, don't be afraid of that. Embrace it. Embrace your life. Number three, the surroundings. And this play a part with the parents and the child. Parents, you got to make sure your child is in a safe and learnable environment. Sometimes you might have to move out of the neighborhood so they won't be just so caught up in the wrong things. Sometimes you have to make sure, even at the bus stop, if that bus stop safe, if it's too far from the house. These play a key point in your child growth development. If you don't take the initiative to put them out of an unsafe environment, it will harm your child mentally, physically, and emotionally. Mentally, because they feel like they always have to be strong and they never can voice things. Physically, you never know. They will have to always feel like they have to defend themselves. And emotionally, they will never know how to control their emotions, because they feel like certain people are being a certain way. So they got to be a certain way. And the kid, the child, You cannot just allow yourself to be in an unsafe environment. This is like, everything is communication. These are things that you have to learn and the parents have to teach. These are important to life. This is things I even struggle with. It was hard for me to communicate because I didn't know how to read. It made me an introvert. But as I started progressing to read, it made me speak up more. So whatever necessary steps you have to take to be in a better position, to speak up, to be that king, queen. Cause just because you're young, it doesn't mean, I'm expressing the young because you are the future. You want to make sure you're developing all the good tools and assets that you need in life. Cause life is different. Life always change. So if you always be so absorbed to what's in the TV or what's going on with celebrities, you will feel like you always have to, what they call, keep up with the Kardashians. You just have to keep up with your development. Don't feel like you have to attack the world so much, so far, so big, or it's just overwhelming you to death. There's no need for that. Just continue to grow and be a child, and the parents let the child be a child. Show them respect at the home, which is number 3. Show them respect. Respect is mandatory. It's not if. It's not, I'm going to do it this time. You have to teach them respect, and that comes with etiquette. If it's teach your young man how to hold the door for women, how to hold the car door for you, how to take the trash out, how to cut the grass, how to wash the dishes. And also pull your pants up. That's not a good thing. It's really not. Even the symbolism of it is not good. It doesn't mean anything good. Don't make that a fashion. This all comes down to respect. Like, honestly, who do you think want to see your underwear? I just have to say this. Who do you think wants to see your underwear? I just got to be honest. Even like, say you want your business. Say you got a business one day, and you got a client that come to you, want your services, but your pants sagging. How do you think they will look at you? Honestly, how do you think they'll look at you? Really, with a lot of minorities, it's already a type of stereotype placed on us. So we have to hold ourselves to a certain accountability so we can have respect to us as well. If you carry yourself a certain way, people are going to treat you a certain way. That's why you carry yourself fine. You carry yourself nice. You carry yourself clean. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with tucking your shirt in sometimes. These are all credible things to good traits. Because when you practice these while you're young, you're gonna be right on track when you get older. And you can be able to pass these good traits down to your kids. And for the young ladies, learn how to wear the proper garments, the right clothing. You know, let your child, let your princess be a princess. Like, don't dye her hair. You don't gotta dye her hair so fast. You don't gotta give her a perm so fast. You know, all of these things. You don't have to do that. You don't have to decide to lock her hair when she don't have a choice. You know, make sure your young lady is a princess for as long as she can. Let her be baby girl. Honestly, make sure she wearing the proper things. Make sure you keep her hair right, so people won't look at her like she's crazy. And no disrespect, but we came far. We came far to have plenty of opportunities. But if you don't look a certain way or give the right teachings to your child, and this is important. We came to a point where we can have everything, but it started with the internal cleanup. It started with, how are we going to develop ourselves in the right way? The foundation starts at home. Can nobody, even when in this, for the people that's being homeschooled, when you teaching your kid, if you feel like he need more help, get him the right proper help as well. But sometimes you can't just be yelling at a kid and think they're gonna understand. Because sometimes some children, like me, learn a little slower than others. So you gotta be patient with them. They're just a child. So I just wanted to share all of these great qualities of how we need to start presenting ourselves, how we need to start recognizing certain things, even mental health awareness. Got to make sure everything is going on right. If your car start going down or check engine light comes on, you're going to go get it checked. So when you notice certain signs, be more intentional about seeing what's going on. How could you change things? How could you make things better? What assistance that you can use to help your child out? And also be more intentional with other people's kids. When you see them struggling, we gotta help. We gotta help our youth as a whole. And I'm 28 years old. So I'm a young adult. And I was blessed to have the parents that I have. So when we have the resources growing up, right, we got to pass the resources down. So this is all experience things that I'm sharing with you. Like, I also consider myself a stereotype killer. I'm young, African American, I got dreadlocks, but I'm not out here in the streets. I'm not out here, selling these drugs, killing nobody. I'm not doing none of that. I'm trying to continue to educate myself. I'm trying to share my story so I can uplift people and share with the youth that your past doesn't equal your future. You always have a bright future. You always have a clean slate when it comes to the next day. All these things matter. All these things matter. And if we don't address certain things, kids gonna continue to grow with bad traits, and it's gonna hinder them and hurt them in the future. So let's start by being intentional, by educating ourselves, educating our kid, and educating the things around you. Sometimes you gotta take the first step to be a leader. Take the first step to be great. I am Mr. Overcomer. Every mountain that I come across, I get over. And I also show people the path over the mountain. And I also want to leave you with a quote. One of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King once said, "Have deep belief in your own dignity, in your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't let anybody make you feel like you nobody." So the children, the adults, the young adults, anybody that's listening to this and heard that means you do have greatness in you and continue to use it. Have a good day. I love y'all and stay blessed.
If you are